before this podcast was a twinkle in our eye. I mean, at the time you weren't coaching me. We were just friends. We used to chat on WhatsApp, and you were giving me fans about Guardians of Summerfeld, and you were saying, what is it? Who's it for? Who are you marketing this for? And I was like, but it's urban fantasy, JT. And you're like, well, tell your covers. Welcome back to Pen and Prosper, a podcast where JT Lawrence is coaching me, Melissa Delport, to be a six-figure author, and we are putting it on the internet. Before we dive into this week's episode, which is all about what we've learned over the course of 2025, we would like to say a great big thank you to our paid subscribers. We really are so grateful for each and every one of you. To Elize, our editor extraordinaire, and of course to Vellum, without which we would not be putting books on the internet as easily as we do. JT, do you want to tell our subs about the link that we have that can take them straight to Vellum from here?
Yes, you can use our special link. It's tryvellum.com /pen and prosper. The and is spelled out AND. And if you use that link, then Vellum knows that you are listening to the show, and it's great for us. Also, you get to try the product for free because you only have to pay when you export the book, when you are happy with it. So it's great to play around and see.
Yeah. I think that's fantastic because it is a bit of a learning curve on Vellum. So you can sit and play and perfect. And then when you're like, actually, I can use this exact book, can export it and then pay. And as we know, Vellum is so affordable. So, okay, right. Are we ready to dive into everything we've learned for 2026? I'm actually quite overwhelmed with this episode because my learning curve has been so steep this year.
Yeah.
I know you've learned a lot about Kickstarter. You've also learned new things.
Yeah, I've learned a lot too, yeah.
Oh, okay. Should we just dive right on in? I mean, where do we even begin? 2020, did I say 26? I meant 2025. The year that I started to actually make money as an author.
You took it seriously as a business, which I think is probably the biggest learning.
Yes. It's not actually a hobby, Melissa. You actually treat it as a business.
Because I remember in the beginning when we started coaching, you were like, oh, I love how you see your career like as a business. And I'm like, of course it's a business, Delport. So like you've come a long way because your head definitely wasn't like business orientated then. And you are a good businesswoman. We know that from what you've done before in your life. So now you can start showing your business chops.
Shine, let it shine. Yeah, no, flip. It was, that's been amazing. Like just the whole shift, focus, and it's everything from when you start writing that first word changes when you start treating it as a business.
That's true. Isn't it great that now when you write a book, it's not like you're writing, you're not sure, you hope someone will read it. No, you've got an audience waiting, you've got translations waiting, you've got an audiobook, all that stuff. And it's just so motivating to know that those words you're putting on the page are like, they're basically like little dollar signs. It's going to make money.
Exactly. So, which brings me actually so funny to one of the things that I did learn. One of the biggest things I've learned, because originally I learned and then I unlearned and I relearned.
It happens.
So you know how we originally learned that a 6-book series is kind of like the perfect number. You want a 6-book series, 80,000 words a book. You want to hit that 480K words to maximize your KU page reads and all of that. So I learned that. I've leaned hard into that for urban fantasy. So I'm obviously going to write that 6-book urban fantasy series and getting Shadow Magic back. But what I recently learned is that if you write to market to a very, 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 very hot market, and you have a pre-order link, you don't need 6 books to make money.
Yes.
So Saving Monroe is kind of, I think, because it's written into such a trend that's on the rise. I mean, that's showing me a return as a standalone short novel. It's only 60-something thousand words.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
But I say that's only in translations. It's not, it's making a little bit in the US, thank goodness for TikTok, but because I'm not spending there. So that obviously is okay. But so that's, I think it's a
very good point. Those pre-orders can bring in money when before we would not advertise a book one. We would not. Yeah. Because we know the ROI is not there. But with pre-orders, it can be there.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. That is the writing to market thing. I think, I'd heard about it. I knew about it in theory. And I was like, but I write because I love it. And, what if someone wants to read my little niche time travel fantasy that doesn't work? But no, Melissa. Back when I hated money, I used to write what I loved. So that is one thing that I have learned recently is that you can make money on your standalone book as long as you write it knowing exactly what you're doing and exactly who you're selling it to from the get-go. What have you
I
learned?
mean,
Your turn.
some authors just think of TikTok when they're thinking of their new book to write, right? They're like,
Yeah.
it's TikTok. What's going to sell on TikTok? And that's what they write because
Yes.
it's such a massive force in the publishing industry.
Yes. Okay, give us one. JT, your turn.
What have I learned this year? Flip, so much.
Just isolate one thing at a time. Otherwise, we're going to be like, oh.
Well, I think the thing that's made the biggest difference in my bottom line this year, apart from buying my rights back, obviously, is translations. Bottom line wise, those were the two things that made the biggest difference.
Buying your rights back
And
and
translations.
and buying your rights back kind of leans into learning that traditional publishing for people who are new and are like starting out and what's the right model for me. It kind of does show you that traditional publishing is not necessarily the best way to make money. I know a
Yes.
lot of people are still very nervous of indie publishing, but by buying your rights back and proving that you could do it on your own, I think it's a great like display of like, you see, you can do it. You can actually make money on your own if you know what you're doing. Me,
Yeah,
13 years ago, it was disastrous.
sure.
So it was good for me to have a publisher and to do it that way. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think,
No, you have to have experience and have the confidence that goes with the wins. Like I knew I could see because I was doing all the marketing when the publisher had the rights. I
mm,
was doing all the work. I saw all the numbers. I could see that the ads was putting out that they were working and there was a great ROI. I'm like,
yeah.
why am I doing all this work? I've already done all the work writing the books. Why am I doing all this work and then sharing the profits? So it made sense for me to buy my rights back and take over it myself. But for someone who doesn't want to do marketing or they don't like Facebook ads, then it's a completely different story.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, and then translations. I mean, there is no business without translations for me. I know that you're okay in the English markets, but for me, certainly there's no, I mean, look at me. I just refreshed. I am now 114 in the Kindle store in France.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just need 15 spots to break that top 100. I'm still struggling with the US. I think the US will come when I build bigger stable, like we spoke about many, many episodes ago, that I don't have a big enough stable. So yes, but translation certainly played a huge role in your growth. I mean, not
Yes, and also like you maybe think that like US is everything for me and the translations are a small part of my business, but that's not actually true because once the momentum of the US sales started dying down, because I rapid released those 12 books, right? And I had this
yeah.
massive surge of everything. And then obviously it's not gonna, the books aren't going to stay up there. So as they've started coming down, translations has been amazing to just buffer that so that my
Yes.
income didn't fall too much.
But the other day we asked you about Spain. I mean, so for us who don't know the
Yes.
behind the scenes conversations, I was like, I'm really thinking of doing another language because obviously I don't have a lot of books and Monroe is doing well. And I'm thinking I want like global domination,
Yes.
like with this
Yes.
series, this new, I want to take on the world. And you said, oh no, Spanish does okay, Swedish does okay. And then you pulled up your figures and Rachel and I were like, I love your version of okay. So I think we should definitely have an episode very early in the new year where we go back and do facts and figures per territory.
Yes, let's do
It'll be
that.
so with
Definitely.
screenshots and then and bring all our facts and figures. This is how much
Yeah.
we've made. This is when we launched. This is the because I
Mm.
looked at my graph the other day from when I started doing this podcast. Well, for the year, and it
Mm.
is like it's literally like nothing.
Fantastic.
It's a
Great.
really great ad for you for your coaching.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll have to share it somewhere. I think we should do that in January. So yeah, so if you add all those translations together, because how many languages do you have now?
I think I have around six. I'll have to check that. But I looked at the numbers very closely in the beginning to make sure it was paying off. So I have that data, and I remember seeing how well it was doing. And I've kind of stopped looking at it because I've been busy with other stuff. So I'd really like to go back and see like what's doing well. And that
Yeah.
Spanish example is such a good example because remember, I was like, yeah, Delport, I think you should do Dutch next and Polish and Swedish for Storytel. And
Yeah.
you're like, what about Spanish? And I'm like, yeah, I think Spanish is okay. And then when I looked, it was doing way better than those other
Then
languages.
yeah,
So
you were
like,
like,
and I didn't
okay,
even know
Spanish first.
that.
Do you remember me trying to map
Definitely.
on that group?
Yeah.
So Dutch first, then this, then this. You're like, no. Okay.
No,
I felt like I
no.
was playing mastermind. Right, let me put the red one and then the blue one. You made me work for it, eh? You're like, she'll get this. She'll get this.
Can't spoon feed you, Delport.
Yeah,
Can't.
okay. All right. So I think while we are on the subject of translations, huge, huge shout out to Scribe Shadow. I
Yeah.
mean, without them, I wouldn't have a career. Translations is my whole business for 2025. And for you, it was a massive part of your business.
It really
So
was.
shall we have a word from Scribe Shadow? We would just like to take this time to tell you guys a bit more about Scribe Shadow. JT and I use Scribe Shadow tirelessly. We do all our translations through the app. It is incredible. Scribe Shadow is a perfect partner for indie authors who don't want to leave money on the table. They use cutting-edge AI to make novel translation fast, affordable, and super easy. In just minutes, your book can be translated into over 19 languages, and that is growing all the time, with high-quality results ready to reach readers everywhere.
And this isn't some faceless tech giant. Scribe Shadow is a small family-run team with indie roots. They've been in the trenches running a small publishing press, so they get the author grind. That's why they've built a tool that's practical, budget-friendly, and designed with indie authors in mind. Plus, they offer cover creation, audiobook translation, and a simple one-credit system for everything. Best of all, you keep full rights to your work, and your books are never used to train AI.
Scribe Shadow has been very generous and given us our very own coupon code, which gets you 30% off your first month of using the app. If you are looking at getting into translations, please would you consider using Pen and Prosper 30. That's PENAND PROSPER 30, and doesn't cost you any extra, and it just lets Scribe Shadow know that we are sending traffic to them and that we are supporting them. I can't recommend Scribe Shadow enough, and neither can JT. Yes, translations was a huge part of both of our businesses in 2025. I love how I say it was a huge part. It was my business in 2025. What business are you in? I'm in the business of translations. It's what I do. Wanted to bring up covers because I remember the day all those months ago, before this podcast was a twinkle in our eye. I mean, at the time, you weren't coaching me. We were just friends. We used to chat on WhatsApp, and you were giving me fans about Guardians of Summerfeld. I think it was before Shadow Magic. I even wrote Shadow Magic. And you were saying, what is it? Who's it for? Who are you marketing this for? And I was like, but it's urban fantasy, JT. And you're like, well, tell your covers. Literally, obviously, I had to wait to have some funds available. So thank goodness for Meonic and Shadow Magic came out, and I started to earn a little bit of money in 2022. And the first thing I did, because that always sat in the back of my head, because once you see it, you can't,
Yes.
because you know how much I love to say JT's right. Book number 1. Book number 2. I mean, come on, unicorn. Anyway,
We've got unicorns, we've got
yeah,
dragons.
we've got woolworths, we've got werewolves.
Wolves.
Okay, but the point is, as much as I love the branding and I love the covers, this says Aragon, doesn't it? It's very much, this is a middle grade, young boys will love this if they've read Aragon,
Yes,
and that's
absolutely.
not what it is. It was appealing to the Twilight readers, So the second I had enough funds, I obviously commissioned Christian Ben Tulin, who's an incredible designer, to create covers for me. He had done Shadow Magic. I wanted them to look similar, so I knew, from the day that I redesigned the covers, the sales pick, like from the day. And one of our guests the other day spoke about this, about being precious with their covers. I think it was Jamie.
Okay.
I think he mentioned like it's difficult to work with authors who are like dig their heels in, when they're precious, and they're like, but I don't want to change my cover. But you should change your cover. So I think that covers, it doesn't matter if you find an image that you think is the most beautiful image that ever. Like the other day, I sent that picture on our group with you and Rachel, and both of you came back and said, beautiful image, doesn't work for genre. Like without even, and we've obviously got to that point in our careers that we can take that criticism straight on the chin and be like, okay, makes sense. I'll keep it for something else.
You've come a long way.
Yeah. Whereas the precious ones are going to be like, no, but I want to use that, and I'm going to prove you wrong. But you are never going to prove us, like you're not going to prove the world wrong. You're just not going to sell that book.
Yes, the packaging is just so important. And you can have the best freaking Facebook ad out there. And if your product packaging, and by that I mean the cover and the blurb and the rest of the product page that you see, if that does not sell the person, then it doesn't matter. Packaging is everything. You can have a mediocre Facebook ad and still make loads of money if your product page is correct.
Yes, 100%. So covers was a huge learning curve for me, and hand in hand with that, obviously learning to not be precious about my opinion mattering so much, because when you're writing to market, you take yourself out of it. What if you want to treat this as a business? It's not a passion project. It's what's going to sell. And speaking of covers, you've recently done a lot of click testing. You've just conducted a click testing project.
Yes. I've been wanting to do click testing for ages, because I've learned that what we've just been speaking about, that, I've got a very definite, I love a certain aesthetic, I love a certain look and feel, and I always think that because I've had advertising training and graphic design and stuff, I think that I'm right, but that is not the case most of the
Mm.
time. So I thought I'll definitely click test and get some data to make sure that my instinct is right. And I think it'll surprise most people if they click test their stuff that you really don't get the answer you think you're going to get.
Yeah.
That said, Delport, you know the three covers I'm testing. I can do a screen share if you want to show them to you. But you know the fire one, the one that we all
Yes.
said would
With the
no,
dog.
no, we chose the dog. The dog
Yeah.
is coming last. I'm gonna go on my Substack post to show you the covers, and
Yes.
then I'll just tell you how I did the click testing.
And you've boldly claimed on our group that you will click test everything going forward. That's how big this is for you, like how you leaned in, right? So, I mean, it has been such a big learning thing for you. It's obviously made such an impression. So I think 2026, I need to get stuck in there a little bit.
I think so too. I think it's so important because if you can get your product page like in the top 90 percentile, then everything else is easier. Facebook ads is easier. ROI is better. Just it's the beginning, the building blocks of success, I think,
Yeah.
to test stuff right in the beginning and make sure it resonates and people click through. So this is my email on
Oh,
Substack.
it looked so great. It looked so good. I read that and I was like, oh, that is a nice looking newsletter.
Thank you. This newsletter doesn't go only to urban fantasy readers. So there are three loads of data I've got, and I have to weight them differently. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to weight this differently to the Facebook ad data, to the Facebook urban fantasy group data that I've got.
Okay.
Because I posted the covers in, it's called, I think, Fans of Urban Fantasy, 44,000 members or something. It's a really big urban fantasy group, and asked
Okay.
people to choose one. And the data on all three platforms was different. And I'm going to take the learnings accordingly. But anyway, okay, so this is the Substack mailer that went out to my email list. That is not sure there are a lot of urban fantasy readers in this list. It's about 3,500 subscribers, but I would say probably less than half are urban fantasy readers. So we've got to keep that in mind.
Okay.
They might not all buy this book.
And you're obviously going to weight heavier the urban fantasy reader's opinion.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Great.
So that's actually the Facebook group opinion that matters most then. And I got
Okay.
a lot of votes there, so that also helps. The more data, the better, right?
Yes.
Okay. So with the Substack mailer, that goes to my ordinary mailing list that it's not strictly urban fantasy. This is number one. We'll just call it Fire for now so that we remember what it looks like. So that's Fire. This one is Frostbite because the dog's name is Frostbite.
That was my favorite. I
Oh
loved
no,
him.
I love it. I love
But
it.
now that I suppose in the thumbnail, you can't see him as clearly.
Yeah, I suppose so. And then this is the third one, Purple Magic. This is actually my least favorite one. I'm not sure why,
I think
but
that
it's
was my
also
second favorite.
okay. It's also done really well.
It's getting the
We've
most
got
fire.
okay. So in this data set, Fire and Purple Magic are even. So
Okay.
that's this one
Okay.
and this one. The one with the
Yes.
dog did not I mean they're not too far away, right? It's 39% versus oh no, it is far away. It is. It's
Okay.
39% versus 22%.
Okay.
So that is that data set. Then you go to my Facebook ads where I click tested them here. Okay, Spellstorm cover click test. You see these three ads here? I did
Yes.
them $5 a day. I spent about $20 on each ad. So the only thing so
Sure.
everything
Okay.
was the same. Every aspect of the ad was the same except the cover.
Okay.
Okay, so I was very clearly testing
Where were
one
you
variable
driving them to? Just to click it
to the pre-order page.
to the pre-order. Okay, got you. Okay.
So I also, apart from the CTRs and all of that I got from Facebook, I also got attribution data, which was helpful.
Okay.
So you'll see the cost per clicks. So the most expensive cost per click was Fire. That was that's image one that I showed you.
Yes.
Okay. Then Frostbite is the one with the dog. That was 12 cents. And then the purple magic was 11 cents.
Okay. That makes sense though.
Okay.
That tracks because the purple magic, it's very magic-y.
Yes. Yeah.
And with the title, I
So
think it just works.
yes. So CPC wise, Purple Magic 1. Click-through rates wise, Purple Magic 1. And then post saves and shares, the doggy one. Okay. But this isn't enough data to go on. I think you need a
Yes.
lot more clicks to go on there. But you can at the same time see that the end click-through rate is very similar. 8.6, 9.1, and basically 9. I mean, they really are much of a
Close.
muchness.
Okay.
And I
Got you.
don't think that you can declare a winner really looking at that with that little data.
Yes.
Yes, it's helpful. I can see that the Purple Magic gets a cheaper click. So I'm going to keep that in mind for my Facebook ads. I'm going to use that purple, that title, whatever, to get people to the product page. So
Okay.
it's good at that. And then what I might do is take out the woman's face and do a text only cover for maybe a paperback or something, because I can see that people like that cover.
Okay. Got you.
The next thing, I don't know if I think it'll complicate it if I show you the actual Facebook group that I tested on.
The urban fantasy, 44,000 urban fantasy readers. Okay, no, I think just tell us what they
I'll just
said.
tell you, yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, the first one, it won by a mile.
Oh, wow.
Doggy one came second. People really liked it. It had more engagement than the first one, but the first one had a lot more votes.
Okay.
Then the purple one came like stone last, the Purple Magic.
Do you think it's also that those covers are so I don't think, I mean, if you put all three of those covers on a shelf, I think they all work together. I mean, they're all clearly in the set. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Do
they'll
you
work.
think?
They will sell the book, I think.
Yes, all of them will.
Yes.
So now which one, like, how will you make that ultimate choice? Have you finished your click testing?
I think for now I finished it because I think I've got I think I've got the data I need from the Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got
Okay.
the helpful information I need from the other things. I know people love the Purple Magic look and vibe, so I'm going to use that in various
Facebook.
things.
Yes.
Then
Okay.
the actual cover, I'm going to stick with book one because that got
Okay.
the majority of the votes on that group. And I'm
Okay.
talking about like 50 votes versus like 38 votes. So it was a strong lead.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
And then also I think it works well for the story. I think it's a good cover for the story. So I think that I have finished click testing these
The
covers
cover.
for now. The only thing I think I might do is make some changes to the winner and then test those to see if there is a difference.
Any.
But I don't think there will be because they tested so closely on Facebook to begin with. So if I take the winning one and change that slightly, I don't think there's going to be much of a difference.
No, I don't think so.
What I did
And
want to
then, are
test
you
is
going to
the
use this for
title.
your Kickstarter too?
I'll use some marketing stuff with the Kickstarter, but the Kickstarter is going to be a special edition, so the cover's
Oh,
going to be
yes.
different.
Okay.
Yeah. I expected
Yeah.
more clarity, to be honest. I expected like a clear winner on Facebook and the clear winner to be the same clear winner
On
in the
both
group.
medium.
Fortunately, that wasn't the case. So I wanted more clarity than I have, but I think I've got enough
Okay.
to go on.
Okay. And what are you click testing next?
The blurb.
Okay. Okay. So how will you do that? What is your process for that?
It's exactly the same. You isolate one thing that you're testing and you do three
Okay. So
different
you'll
ads.
use the winning cover, and now you'll
Yes.
test different blurbs. Okay. Oh, that's
Yes.
cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna have to keep us posted. When are you
I
hoping to
will.
have all your click testing done so you can?
Well, I want to launch Kickstarter in January, so it would be good if this was all done by then. So at least I know that I have my ebook look, I've got my marketing kind of look, and then I can start on the special edition as soon as possible.
Okay. Got you. Okay. Well.
And then of
keep
course
us
I have to
posted.
write the book.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there's that little step that we've got to slot in somewhere between all this click.
No, it is more than half written. I just have to finish it in
Okay.
January.
Okay. And this is another 6-book urban fantasy series in the Magic and Mayhem.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
exactly.
Great. Okay. All right. Do you want to know what I learned next?
Yeah, tell me.
I learned that, and I learned a lot of this from you without you even realizing it. No, it's not a compliment.
Damn.
Social media, if you can't do it every day, don't do it. No,
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
teasing. No. So I have learned that if you're going to, as an author, do social media as a marketing tool, you have to kind of go all or nothing. You can't
You have to
start,
show up
stop,
every
start,
day.
stop, because it takes a huge amount of mental bandwidth and a huge amount of like time. And if you're going to just dip your toe and then you're shifting tasks in your head for something that's not really
Yeah.
going to give you any return, because let's be honest, buying TikTok and Facebook ads, social media itself doesn't really sell your books. It's kind of like one of those optional extras. And with social media, I'm talking about everything from your Substack blogs to your website to your, like, so where you're putting your presence out on the internet, things that are taking you time. But especially with Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, if you're not going to do it consistently, you lose all that traction every time you
Yes.
stop. And it's, yeah. So I think with that, if you're going to do that, you have to do it. That's it. You locked in now. It's like,
Yeah.
it's a do or die kind of thing, especially
Yeah.
with TikTok.
And I think that's why a lot of people say choose one and just do
Mm,
one well, because you can't do it
yes.
all well, because that's a full-time job.
And if I had to say do one well, I would say TikTok for marketing.
Yeah.
But I would definitely pre-schedule a few posts on your Facebook page, because if you're using Facebook ads, you don't want people to then click on your page and your last post was in 2023, because then
Yeah.
they're not going to be inclined to follow your page because it doesn't look like there's any new content coming out.
Yeah.
Instagram is the one that I've let slide because exactly that, you have to choose. So I was like, okay, so Facebook and Instagram relies a lot on image heavy and original image heavy. So it would require, like Rachel does it beautifully because she takes the beautiful videos and the beautiful
She's
photos of her
perfect for
books,
that.
and she was built for Instagram. For us, we're a little bit quick and dirty. It doesn't really work. So
Mm.
I'm actually okay with that. I know that there's a huge pool of readers on Instagram, and I definitely think for quarter 1, maybe quarter 2 next year, that's got to be part of my strategy. For this year, I just kind of let it. I was like, I'm not worried about Instagram. Just
Okay.
not worried about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so if you're gonna do social media, you have to start and just keep on going.
Yeah. I think automation plays a big part in this too, because even though I know that the same posts on Facebook don't work as well on Instagram, don't work as well on TikTok, if you
Yeah.
are only going to focus on one platform, then I don't think there's any harm in automating something that's post, yeah, all over the place. What was that app we were using, or I used for a
Yes, I
while? It was
can't
really
remember
great.
you. I can't remember. I never used it. Did it work?
It
Did it?
really it worked really
Okay,
well because I set it up so that whenever I posted on TikTok, it would share to YouTube Shorts.
that's clever. So that would be
So
hugely helpful.
yeah, so but when I was posting 3 times a day, it was also YouTube Shorts 3 times a day, and then you really start getting some
Okay.
traction. So
Okay.
that was great. Definitely going to look at that again next year when I have a more solid social media plan. I think automation is going to be a big part of my 2026
Strategy.
because I've realized I don't have the bandwidth to do everything right, and you can only hire out so much. I mean, I feel like I've hired out everything I can hire out now,
Yes.
except maybe for PA doing cross posting, but you should really have that automated. You shouldn't be paying a human to do that when an app can do it.
Yeah. Yeah, true story. You don't think you get penalized for coming through an I know some like algorithms, and I don't think so because you were getting great views on those YouTube shorts.
Yeah, I don't think you get penalized. I think that the biggest problem is that you're not doing it specifically for that platform. And as we know, like an Instagram person is a very different person to a TikTok viewer.
Hugely so. It would
Yeah.
worry me. In fact, for Instagram, it's almost like you want those transitions and those like hooky videos where, it disappeared. Or I started doing a few early in 2025, and I did some really cool stuff, but
Mm,
that is a huge time suck because it takes a long
mm,
time to create those videos. Yes,
yeah.
probably got a higher chance of them going viral, but obviously now the page is here and that we can focus a lot more on doing fun stuff like that, particularly once all our big back projects are done.
Yes.
So
Yes.
so Instagram and Pinterest we will be diving in. But yeah.
Yes, Pinterest, that's another one. That's on my list for next year.
Yes, quarter 1.
Yes, and once you've got your Pinterest stuff going, then you can start advertising on Pinterest. And I know David Viergoets is spending, I think it's like 25% of his ad budgets there. And I couldn't believe it. Like, I don't know many authors who spend a lot on Pinterest ads. So I'm definitely going to
Yeah.
be looking at that. It looks very straightforward.
Okay.
There are a few YouTube videos and podcasts you can listen to get an idea of how to do Pinterest for authors. Yeah, I definitely want to look at that because I love Pinterest. I love like the aesthetics, I like the magic and witchy vampire, all that kind of aesthetic. And I think
Yeah.
that like I'm just happy there,
And
compared
do you
to
know how long that's been a thing? I remember Tracy McDonald telling me when I
mm,
founded the Legacy with her to have a Pinterest board called the
yes,
Legacy Travels, and to get
yes.
people that were reading my book, if they were traveling anywhere, to take a photo of it. And
Oh,
like
great.
back then, hey, and that was in
Yeah.
2013. I think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Pinterest clearly isn't going anywhere. It's
Yeah.
established itself as like a big player, I think, in your social media strategy, but it's time.
It's
That
time.
that
Time.
precious, precious time.
Yeah, but again, it's about choosing a social media that you like and you feel comfortable doing. Like, I really
Mm.
have mood boards for all my books on Pinterest because I
Okay.
used to do it to help me write and to figure out what the characters look like and stuff. So, like,
Okay.
that's already all done. It would be about
Yes.
posting a few more things, some book covers, and then doing some ads to drive traffic.
From it. Okay. Okay. All right. What else have you got for us?
This is quite a hard lesson because I mean, remember in the beginning when we started podcasting, I said to you, I cannot just rely on Facebook ads for my business. It's very risky and it's like it's building a house on sand, right? So I tried as quickly as I can to fortify my business against that, but I haven't done it in time because when these Andromeda changes happened in the last few months, it really did affect my income a lot. So like
Okay.
all the Facebook ads that were working really well stopped working. We've been scrambling to get Andromeda like going. And Caroline has taken this challenge so well. She's done so much research. She's been watching YouTube videos on Andromeda. She's got this whole like ecosystem in her head now. She's like, this is how it's going to work. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. So she's
Oh, I
been
love
really
it.
amazing about it. But it has been very stressful. You know, we've both been sitting like putting our hair out. Like basically people are saying, throw out everything you know about Facebook advertising because it's different now. And like to tell me that after I've had such a fantastic year of Facebook ads and now they're not
Mm.
working, it's tough. It's
Yeah,
very,
it's
very
tough.
tough pill to swallow.
But a
So
very wise person once told me that you have to pivot when these things.
yes. So what I've been doing is BookBub ads, which have been really great. I mean, my book ones haven't sold as well in months.
Okay.
So that's really great. Look out for our
Episode.
BookBub episode. We talk about everything, but basically the CPCs are sky high, but the conversion is equally as high.
Okay.
So it's a more expensive way to advertise, but you're getting proper readers because they're BookBub people, they are warm. They are opening that email looking to buy something. So I'm loving BookBub ads and I'm just hoping that I see the read through I'm expecting on the ads I'm doing now because I'm paying a lot per click. But if you look at the lifetime value of a customer, it should have a great return. If for some reason they don't read through or something like that, then I am basically burning money on BookBub ads. We'll
Yeah.
see. And I think it's a risk worth taking because I know the books have good read through. I know they've got great reviews, so it seems like it's going to work.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm getting
Great.
like 30 sales of book one a day now, whereas before it
Oh.
was much less than that.
And
I
you
was
got that
focusing on the box
attribution
set.
data, so it's easy to see which ads are working and yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
we've covered all of that in our episode.
Yes, yes.
So it is definitely one to look out for. I found that was so helpful. So I did one or two, but then I actually just with Shadow Magic coming in January, I know Facebook ads for translations are working for me. I had all that stuff to do. I was like, no, stop it. Don't get distracted now by
Yes,
shiny things. Save your
yes.
money. I learned that embracing technology grows your business. And I laugh so much. Paige and I discussed this the other day, actually. We were talking about it and saying that I actually wanted to make like a TikTok that said them and then have like she's only doing well because she uses AI and then scroll and go, my AI and have Paige waving in the background.
Yeah, that's
Because
great. That's great.
realistically, if I hadn't embraced technology being Scribe Shadow and Midjourney to make graphics, to make Facebook ads. I mean, most of my use of technology has been in the Facebook ad space. I would never have been able to make enough money even to call myself a career author, but also to get someone to help me to do all the things that need to happen,
Yes,
you know?
yes,
So yeah, it's definitely growing a business. It's massive. You have to do it. You can do it ethically and you can do it with your morals intact and you can, I'm not going to use it to write my books. I'm not, you can decide within the scope of your business what you feel is ethical for you and how you want to use it. But it has without a doubt enabled me to grow and to make money and
yes,
to employ someone else, So
yes.
so that was a huge one for someone who
Yeah.
started out quite anti-AI. And I
Yes,
think
I remember
a lot
one of the first podcasts. You said, "So we both anti-AI, but blah blah blah," and I said, "Let's just go back and
actually, Delport.
and just and like
Yeah.
question the premise, right?
Yes, yes,
So
100%. Because that's ultimately what it is that you within, I mean, I have an author friend who has started using AI to write books, and I was quite
mm,
shocked by it. Like
yes,
I think I was like, you're like, what? But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Who am I to
exactly.
everybody's doing this. I mean, and we know, right, that only in the creative space is AI so hated. In every other industry, it's embraced for how helpful
Mm,
it's been and all that. But
mm.
I really do feel I have come a long way, because I was kind of like, okay, not how I would do it, but you do you.
Yeah, I have
Who am
zero
I to
judgment
say,
for authors
yeah,
who write
how are
with
you
AI.
using
Like
it?
Ilana Johnson is amazing. Like she's
Yeah.
so super successful, and like she uses AI for everything, and
Mm.
like all power to her.
I think if I didn't love the creative process, maybe, but I mean, the writing side of it, right? We've always said this, like for me, that's like I was doing it
Yeah,
for no money, I was like, that's
yeah,
how much I
yeah,
love. So you
yeah,
were too. I mean, we love writing since little kids. We've spoken about
yeah.
this, like school, and your teachers are telling you should write books, and it's like the dream.
Mm,
And
mm.
so for me, I don't think even as much as far as I've come, for me personally, I don't think I would get to a point where I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna write books with AI. I think it would just take all the magic out of
Yeah.
it. I'm not
Never say
yucking
never.
anyone's yum from now on either, because I've
Yeah.
learned that,
Yeah.
the
Writing
more
a
you
book with
scream and
AI
shout
doesn't
from your
seem like
soapbox,
fun.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Writing a book with AI doesn't sound like much fun to me. Like,
Mm,
and definitely, like, if it helps you brainstorm and stuff, that's completely different. But yeah, I'd much rather spend time with my own imagination, the characters in
yes,
my head, than like
yes.
it's weird. What I don't love is these authors, or I don't even know if you could call them authors, that are like absolutely flooding the market with
Oh
like
yeah, with
100
junk,
a day kind of
and
thing.
it's
Yeah.
junk.
So
If
I'm
you're
not
going to
loving.
write with AI, you need to humanize it. You need to go through it, and you need to check, like, because yeah, there's junk out there. There really is. But I remember you saying a few months ago that readers are, discerning, and they'll quickly learn that
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
even if
It's a
you just do a
democracy,
look
right?
inside. Yeah, thank goodness for Kindle's look inside. You look inside, and that is absolute junk. A little bit of extra legwork, but there are ways to get around it, and you can return books on Kindle. So I mean, if it's absolute junk and the
Yes.
book's returned enough, I'm pretty sure that
Yes.
account's going to get shut down.
In theory, they'll all float to the bottom and not see the
Yeah.
light of day. But as AI improves, I think that might change. So we'll see. It'll be
Yeah.
interesting.
Okay, what else? What have you got? What have you got?
So I've learned a lot about Kickstarter this year, so much that we'll do a
Mm.
Kickstarter episode in the early new year.
Yes, we're going to do an
And
entire episode on that, on those
you know when you
learnings.
just like read a book or watch a course or something and you're like, this is gonna work for me. Like you know that feeling. Like this is right for me,
Yeah.
for the way I write, for my brand, everything. Like this is good. That's how I feel about
Yes.
Kickstarter, and that's why I'm taking it so seriously into next year.
Yes. You really are. I mean, you've leaned in hard with Kickstarter. Like, I feel like I'm like sitting on the edge looking, going, oh, that looks cool, but like I'm not ready
Yeah,
to. And it's not
yeah.
even just because of the South African issue, or that it's just, I mean, Ariana's episode was so amazing. And I went on and I've had a look at other Kickstarters, and like I think I sent you that lady that I've just got that I found, and
Yes.
like I found the process fascinating, and I definitely would want to try it, but I want you to try it first. And then I
Yes.
also think Rachel should definitely try a Kickstarter,
It's
because
so
she's
Rachel's thing. She
yeah,
will
yeah, it's so coded.
dominate.
It's Morgan coded. She'll be like,
Yes.
boody bobbity boo. You all get beautiful things.
Yes. No, she's the perfect person for that.
Yes. So I'm very, very curious to see how it goes. Like once you launch and everything, like I'm so curious to follow your process. And obviously I'm
Mm.
wishing you like that money rains down on your face. But yeah, so you must let me know when it goes
Thank
live. I'm
you.
gonna be like
Oh, yes.
watching, I'm gonna be like
Oh,
refresh,
yes.
refresh.
So just to manage your expectations, the first one is going to be very small, like a practice run.
Yes, you
So,
said that.
and I think a lot of authors are worried about that. They're like, what if I do a Kickstarter and it fails? It's really like, I really don't think that's the right way to look at it. Your first one is a practice run. If it doesn't
Yes.
fund, it doesn't matter. If you only make $200 because that's the funding goal you put in, it doesn't matter. You have to start somewhere. And I
Mm.
think the smaller your goal in the beginning, the better, because as Ariana and Anthea always say, your goal is a floor, not a ceiling. And you just have to put your toes in the water and then go from there. So I think by the third Kickstarter or fourth, that's
You've
when
got an idea.
it's really
Yeah.
going to start happening for me. And when I say really start happening for me, I just mean like, okay, I'm actually happy with the ROI of the time I spent on that Kickstarter because they're
Yes.
so time heavy. They're
Yes.
really huge time sucks. So yeah, just to manage expectations and also to let authors listening feel a bit more brave about it. Like you don't have to have a Brandon Sanderson Kickstarter on your first try. It might be your 20th.
Yeah. Yes.
But I think it is important to get into, well, we'll talk about this in the New Year episode, but to get into direct sales, I still think it's very important that everyone starts taking control of their author business in a more direct way, because we've seen what happens with Amazon algorithms, and we've seen what happens like getting kicked out of KU and that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
we all know if we're building houses on sand when we are just relying on KU and Facebook ads. And the more we
Yes.
can fortify your business, the better.
The better going forward. Okay. I have one more. So this one is a bit of a bitter pill to swallow, but unfortunately it is, like, we've always been transparent, right?
Yeah.
That if you want to make a serious go of an author career, you are going to have to spend a fair amount of money out of your pocket to get yourself going. And it goes back to I've always said, like, people that script on covers or editors or anything, before they knew what they were doing, how can you expect people to invest money in your book if you refuse to invest money in it? Unfortunately, all these ads, whether it's BookBub, whether it's AMS, whether it's Facebook, whether it's anything to get your book traction, costs money. And there's that 90-day delay on payout. So even if you decided, I'm not going to do that and I'm going to do print runs, you're going to need money for a print run. You're going to need, so your Shopify store is going to cost you $50 a month or whatever it is. So you're going to have to, if you really want to make money through books, you're going to have to get a little business loan or save money and do it properly.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think a lot of the expenses that existed before have fallen away, in the way that it's easier now to design your own cover because of
Yes.
AI.
Yes.
It's easier to edit your work for free because of AI, and depending on your morals and ethics and how you feel about AI and all of that.
Well, even that, I don't think it's free, because you still have to pay for a lot of those softwares, your Pro Writing Age, your Grammarly. So there is still a price tag to those, but yes, it's definitely it can be a more affordable process.
Yes, definitely. Like you can pay for editing software, and that's going to cost you like $15 a month. And it'll obviously never replace a human editor, but I'm talking about authors who don't have money. They want to get the book out there and they just don't have money. Then there are shortcuts you can take for now until your business is a bit more robust. But then, as you say, the ads, it's a pay-to-play landscape now. You cannot do this without ads, in my experience. There are authors who are doing so well without ads, but there are literally authors who are making a lot of money and not advertising on Facebook.
Yeah.
They're using TikTok. They're finding other ways to do it.
Yeah.
But I do think advertising is such a huge part of the business and such an effective way to market your stuff.
I think, that's the whole point, is to just get your name out there, get your brand out there. It does. It takes time and it takes effort and it takes money. I mean, even if you decide you're just going to go on a mailing list, and you still need money to run that mailing list. Well, I mean, you can find free options, but I think it's going to bottleneck you so hard if you go in with zero budget and you're like, I'm going to become an author, and it's really rough. But at the same time, any business requires startup capital, right? Any business. So
yeah, but you could like shoestring budget from in the beginning and just get your first 3 books out there and only use free platforms. You can do that. You can.
I did that for 10 years. 10 years I did that. Guess how much money I made? A lot.
In those first months, or even the first year, then I think that is fine, because you do have to get those books out there before you start spending money on them, and then you just use the free.
And I'm not talking about like sell your house and dive in there. Hey, I'm like, I mean, I did this like for a couple of months, like really on a really shoestring budget. Like I was, but still had to spend money. Like I was allocating that. I was going without certain things. I was like trying to channel as much as I could. Just, I think money does make money.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
You can't start with nothing.
You did have a backlist. You did have books to advertise.
But
I just want an author listening to this saying, "Oh, I'm going to need money to start this." No, you don't. You don't need money to start this. You can start writing, and once you're on your 3rd or 4th or 5th book, then start spending money, and that's probably when you're going to get a good ROI.
The most return. So you can write the books and you can get yourself prepped, but like I'm saying, when you start to want to really put your books out there, you're going to have to go, okay, let me dig deep
For
here.
sure.
And even if it's a small ad a day, but
For
it's
sure.
that 90 days that really stings
Mm.
you. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Yes,
Unless you're really good
if
at
you
TikTok, that
master
solves all your money
TikTok.
problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's going on with
Yeah.
TikTok? I found them on, like it was doing so well, and now it's just like so.
But I've heard that. I've heard that it's like stalling a bit for a lot of people.
It's
Changed
not
an
people
algorithm or
spending
something.
advertising for Christmas, like a lot of people advertising and cannibalizing all those
Mm.
views could be.
Mm.
So I won't stress too much until January. I still get like a decent amount of views.
It's
So I'm like,
7,500 views
was
on
that on
my
your
Jim
Jim
Butcher
Butcher?
one.
Well, now you know the trick. All you have to do is find like international superstars to
Exactly.
interview every week, and you'll be
Yeah,
golden.
exactly. No worries.
I think that as a strategy was so smart to align yourself with him, with his name, because he is one of your top comps, right? And
Yeah.
like, so now the name's being mentioned a lot. I just think like all the algorithms are going to kick in a little bit and be like, well, these two are kind of the same. Stop trying to make fetch happen.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay, I
We'll see.
think I think that's everything I've learned. If
Yeah, I think we've also just learned so much, like so many small things. Like if you think of how much Caroline has taught us with Facebook
oh
ads,
yeah,
so much information all the time. I mean, it's and then with Jamie and AMS, and
AMS, yeah.
so like I still don't know a lot about AMS, but we've learned about AMS this year. We've learned a lot about Facebook ads this year, and there's just like a lot of information coming in all the time, and like. Often after a podcast, we'll be like, "Oh my God, our brain is so fried."
Yes,
And
I go inside and I'm
yeah, I
exhausted.
think,
Oh,
yeah, woo, yeah. So I think we've learned a lot that we can't really put our finger on, if you know what I
yes,
mean.
yeah. It's this huge
There's like,
holistic like
there's,
learning
it's,
curve.
yeah,
Like we've just been like absorbing all this stuff the whole year. But it's
yes,
been
yes.
wonderful. One hell of a ride.
It
Can't wait.
has. It's been a
2026 is going to
great
be
year.
bigger and better. 26, I've just had this feeling like in my gut for like a while that 2026 is going to be my year. Obviously Shadow Magic launches on the 1st of January. I'm gonna like lean hard into that.
Are you ready?
Ready. I'm ready. I think we're ready. We've got all the covers, we've got all the print files, we've got all the interior files, we've got Kindle file. Everything is ready. Blurbs are done. I did speak to
Have you got
KDP
your
this
book club
week.
ad set up?
No, I can't do anything until it's moved though, because of the ASINs. Oh, you mean prep them?
Okay.
So Paige and I are prepping. So we're
Mm.
prepping TikToks next week.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I'll prep some Facebook and BookBub ads. I actually haven't. That's one thing I haven't done.
Remember, those book club ads are so
For also
important for
boards,
your
yeah.
also
The
boards.
also
Set up
boards,
this
yeah.
also board.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, so I'm going to do that. So the big stuff, the prep work is done. Now it's like the marketing stuff that needs to kick in. But I was talking to KDP the other day and I was actually a bit worried because they were like, if any of your metadata changes, you can't transfer the reviews. And I was like, how is that a thing? Because
That's just not true.
like they were like, your
That's just not
metadata has
true.
to be, and I'm like, I can't go and ask Micah, like, what categories, what keywords did you use? Like, I can't do that. Okay, so you didn't find that.
No, I mean I've transferred reviews on loads of books, and obviously the metadata is going to change.
I know,
Obviously.
it's strange, right? So I was a bit concerned, but
Yeah.
anyway, I've taken all my screenshots, I've got all my ASINs written down.
Also
I'm
put your
ready.
mind at rest. Concept because they don't always know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure Micah was taking them down on the 19th or the 20th. So I'm watching. I'm sure. So I'm assuming they'll vanish. Then what about people that are reading them on? Anyway, that's what he said. And then I can load them up on the 1st.
Okay, great.
I don't know,
Yeah, I
friend.
would have another conversation with KDP just to put your mind at rest because I wouldn't be happy with
Oh,
that last feedback.
I was like, that's weird. That's very
No.
strange. Anyway, okay. All right, friend, I think that's it for this episode. I think we have peaked. We have covered most of it. I mean, we haven't covered even half of it, but we covered some big ticket items.
Yeah, I think so too. I think those were the important things.
Yes, definitely. Before we close out, I think another shout out to our sponsor, Vellum, for allowing us to put books so easily on the internet. Must say, that was one of my learning curves this year, is that I did learn how to do chapter headings in Vellum, remember, and make pretty things.
Oh,
I had never
yes.
done that before.
Yes.
And so
Okay,
I
great.
can't wait to actually dive into like special editions with that and learning how to format those. So
Yeah.
we will have to do an episode on that. Okay. Well, I will see
Okay.
you in our next episode.
Okay, see you then.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.